So let's put design, I guess, in a bit of context. And as you and I were discussing a few minutes ago, I first bumped up against it in the context of design as a driving force, kind of a glue for many of the other business disciplines around creating useful products and services that people can take advantage of. But it was not always so. I mean, it used to be in the kind of post-war, I guess, mass market evolution of our economy. People built stuff and then they sort of handed it to the designers to make it look good. and that didn't work so well in many cases. But subsequently, design really became embedded as part of as a discipline, I would say, that people felt you could actually learn and practice, and it was a contribution much earlier in the process. But it was not always like that. So maybe talk a little bit about the evolution of the discipline of design.
Yeah, yes. You're exactly right. It's in that kind of post-war context that design, at least in the US, started to come in as kind of like that final way to differentiate a product that due to the scale of manufacturing was, many products were becoming more commoditized. And so to actually differentiate between, this company's phone and that company's phone, you actually had to add a layer of something design oriented. But that did position design kind of at the end of the process, just the kind of finishing aesthetics or, maybe the look and feel. And I think what was, a kind of a shift around that is that you started to see design be brought in a more cross-functional way, right? Design started to become invited into the more of the strategy process, more of the early stage conceptualization process, and sit side by side with the folks who are doing the forecasting and looking at the market trends and kind of merging those skill sets. And, what design offers in a lot of ways is that ability to try to anticipate what we call latent needs. So the needs that are they're present, but they're harder to detect. And we do that through a lot of qualitative work, some speculation, and then testing those hunches through the early stage prototyping process and testing. And that is a really amazing complement for a lot of the disciplines that are in marketing, that are in strategy. And I think where you see the most, holistic adoption of design is where you have those functions, really sitting side by side. And what we're seeing right now is this increase, for example, of like chief design officers, right? That is really at a C level. There are an increasing number of companies that are saying, wow, this is actually a strategic function. This is a strategic role that we need, and we need it to have that level of influence and visibility across what's happening in the company. So I think kind of right at the early stages of that yet another shift. And it's really kind of an exciting time.
It really is.